So let's talk about it. How do you use an amazing, powerful tool like Google's Notebook LM without that nagging fear in the back of your mind that one day it might just poof, vanish? You know that feeling, right? On one hand, you're blown away by what this thing can do, but on the other, there's this little voice saying, uh-oh, what happens if I start relying on this for everything? Well, you're not alone, and you're not crazy for feeling that way. And look, this isn't some hypothetical what-if scenario. This is a real quote from a real student when the service went down right when they needed it most. That's the gut punch. That's what happens when a tool you depend on just disappears. Okay, so let's start right there. That anxiety you feel about depending on AI, it isn't paranoia. It is completely justified, and it's based on some very real, very solid evidence. But hey, the point here isn't to scare you off these incredible tools. It's actually the exact opposite. Our goal is to arm you with knowledge. We're going to separate the real, legitimate risks from the sci-fi fears, so you can walk away from this feeling confident and totally in control.
So, where does this feeling of unease come from? Well, a huge part of it comes from Google's own track record. It's time to take a little stroll through the infamous Google graveyard.
Just look at that number, 288. That is how many products, services, and apps Google has launched and then later shut down. That's a staggering number. It's no wonder we're a little hesitant to get too attached to anything new.
And this chart really drives the point home. We're talking about a 51.5% kill rate. It is literally more likely that a Google product you use will get discontinued than not. It's basically a coin toss. This isn't a fluke, it's just how they operate.
Okay, but here's the twist. While that history is, terrifying, the case for Notebook LM is actually pretty strong. This isn't some side project. It's being woven directly into Google Workspace, it's getting constant updates, and this is the big one, there are paid business plans. And as we all know, money talks. That signals Google is serious about this one. But honestly, the fear of Google pulling the plug might not even be the biggest risk here. There's something more subtle and maybe more dangerous happening. The real threat isn't losing your notes, it's losing your own ability to think critically.
The technical term for it is skill atrophy. And it's pretty simple, really. Think of your brain like a muscle. When you outsource all the heavy lifting, all the summarizing, analyzing, and connecting of ideas to an AI, your own mental muscles for doing that work can start to get weak.
And we're not talking about small stuff. We are talking about the absolute core abilities that make us effective thinkers and learners. Things like critical thinking, drawing your own conclusions, and forming new, independent ideas from scratch. These are the heavy hitters.
Now, here's the really sneaky part of all this. It's something psychologists call the illusion of competence. The AI hands you this perfectly written, beautiful summary, and you read it and think, yep, I totally get it now. But you didn't do the hard work. You didn't wrestle with the material yourself. The tool makes you feel smart, but it might actually be getting in the way of you becoming smarter.
All right, so skill atrophy is the long-term, slow burn risk. What about the short-term shocks? Like what happens when the service just stops working? Well, let's talk about outages. They're real, they happen, but we need to see them for what they are. A major inconvenience, not a total catastrophe. And this isn't just a what if, it's a what happened. Looking back at 2025, you can see a clear pattern of instability. A global blackout in March, a huge crash right during back-to-school season. These outages are a predictable, if frustrating, part of using any new cutting-edge service like this. And here are the hard numbers. We're seeing outages lasting for hours at a time, taking down the whole system or just specific features. It's messy, but look at the data. The key takeaway? Yeah, the service is going to go down sometimes, but it always comes back up.
And this right here, this is probably the most crucial thing to understand about an outage. When Notebook LM goes down, you lose access to the tool, but you do not lose your work. All of your source files, your PDFs, your docs, they're still sitting safe and sound in your Google Drive. It's a workflow nightmare, for sure, but it is not permanent data loss, and that is a huge difference.
Okay, so we've defined the risks, the graveyard, the skill atrophy, the outages. Now for the most important part. What do we actually do about it? Let's walk through a practical plan to keep you in the driver's seat.
Here it is, your 5-step plan for AI independence. 1. Start your work outside of Notebook LM. Treat it like a brilliant consultant, not a storage locker. 2, keep taking some of your own notes, whether by hand or just typing. Keep your brain in the game. 3, when the AI gives you gold, copy and paste that gold into your master document. Archive it. 4, don't get locked in. Play around with other tools. And 5, the big one, build your personal knowledge system to work even if Notebook LM vanished tomorrow. Assume it's not permanent.
So when you boil it all down, we're left with this one powerful question. It's not about if you should use these tools. It's about how. Are you going to use Notebook LM as a prosthetic, something that amplifies and extends your own thinking? Or will you let it become a replacement, a crutch that lets your own powerful mind weaken? The tool is just a tool. The choice and all the power is yours.